You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the host or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Guys, welcome to Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I am Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrix Scott, and we're here to delight and entertain you today with all of our fun facts about sexual health topics.
Yeah, we are certified sex therapists and licensed marriage and family therapists here in Houston, Texas. Go H-Town.
Woo!
And so, yeah. Hey, so, how was your weekend?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Clients as usual, keeping me on my toes.
Oh, that's needed.
You are the one who had the interesting weekend.
Well, okay, so for those of you who love Edge Radio like we do, there is another show called How You Livin' that records, that goes live on Mondays at noon. At noon.
Right before.
With Robin and Dr. Kiva. And last week, they had a guest on the show, Alicia Jackson from Analog Earth Healing, and she is a counselor and a psychic, and she does cards and everything. So when we were here, I met her and I was like, oh my God, like this is kismet. Because literally, what y'all don't know is the night before I had texted Hendrix and I was like, I want to go see a psychic.
I was all for it. I was so for it. I was like, yes, do it.
And it was like late at night. So then like the next day we show up Monday afternoon, because that's when we record this show, and she's here and I was like, oh, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
So I had a session with her this weekend.
How did it go? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it fascinating?
I loved it. I cried.
I bet. Yeah, I already knew that. I mean, maybe our viewers didn't.
I cry about everything. But yeah, like woo, man, it was deep.
She hit hard.
She hit hard.
Like the accuracy, because people are always wondering about like the accuracy and is it they just going to tell me a bunch of fluff? For you, it was like very pertinent.
Oh yeah, information. She hit some spots. I got some work to do, y'all. Woo.
You were telling me, and I was just imagining you just sobbing the whole time. Yeah. I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of let what she told me sink in for a couple of weeks, and then I think I'm gonna go back to her for some of her counseling services. So I might keep y'all updated on that. Like, check her out. Go watch the show from How You Livin' from last Monday.
We love them, by the way. We're big
Robin
supporters.
and Dr. Kiva are amazing. Yeah. And Alicia Jackson, she was really, really cool. She's on point. So check her out, Analog Earth Healing. I like her.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
I feel like people are always looking for a good psychic.
Yeah.
Maybe not looking, but like if one shows up in their vicinity,
right?
Your curiosity is sparked, and you're like, okay, I could do that.
Yeah, and you're always like, when you're driving by, you see the like psychic, and you're kind of like, do I want to go there?
Maybe we could go for our sex lives. Well, no, then we couldn't tell viewers because I'm not like that professionally as a therapist. Who do we know that would like to go to this person and then come on the show and talk about it?
Yeah.
A psychic about your future sex life.
Yeah.
Or to, discuss the future of your sex life.
I didn't specifically ask her about my sex.
Someone raise your hand and let us know. Like, we'll pay for it.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You're paying for it.
Rich too far. Rich too far. She was affordable, though. I will say this, because I've been to a few psychics in my time. And she's definitely affordable.
Nice.
As far as psychics go. Yeah, I think next on the list, maybe I do want my cards read to me. Anywho, I also tried to cut my finger off this weekend and ended up passing out.
Oh, yes, you passed out.
I have only fainted twice in my life. This was the second time. Like, my boyfriend was like talking to me and like even slapping my face, and I just had a blank stare because I tried to chop my finger off and I just crashed and fainted. So
yeah.
It was an eventful weekend.
I think it's time for some self-care.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think as your co-host, your colleague, and your friend.
My friend. Some self-care. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving on.
Anyway.
Anyway. She says anyway. It's just whatever. That's a Hendrix thing. We do want to say, so the day that this airs, so March 31st, Wednesday, March 31st, is International Transgender Day of Visibility.
Woo.
So we do want to give a shout out to that and let all of our transgendered brothers and sisters and thems and theys and everybody else, like, we see you and we're
Absolutely.
here for you and we love you.
Yes.
Like, this is, yeah.
And the topic we're talking about today may just because of ease say women, but it's completely valid for trans men or you know, anyone on the spectrum who has feminine reproductive parts. So we're not leaving you out. This isn't like a female show, even though the content is going to be about, you know, a sexual pain disorder, if you will.
Right. But I think cisgendered heterosexual men can really learn a lot from this too.
They need to know this.
Because as we go into this, like, so our main thing is, this is Endometriosis Awareness Month. March is Endometriosis Awareness Month. Say that 3 times fast. And so we're going to put up a graphic that kind of just goes over some of the stats about this and how much it affects people. There we go. Like, so 1 in 10, I think is that?
1 in 10 women?
Yeah.
But they highly suspect that it's more because it just goes misdiagnosed, untreated. People ignore it. People ignore the symptoms. They don't know the symptoms and the signs to begin with.
Right.
So it just goes undiagnosed
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
What are some other interesting things that we think people need to know on that?
So I think we've talked about this, and again, we'll talk about it all the time because we see it in our office all the time, is for painful sex. Sex should not be painful.
Right.
I don't know how to keep saying it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it shouldn't, and that is a sign, it's a symptom for endometriosis, painful sex.
Yeah.
Severe periods, severe pelvic cramping.
Yeah.
Painful ovulation, painful urination, constant fatigue, bleeding between periods, digestive problems.
So I finally pulled it up. So we'll go into this. So that's some of the symptoms, but like they're calling this the largest women's health crisis of our time, if you're not able to see that. It takes about 8 to 10 years before a proper diagnosis to finally occur.
Because there's this idea that these symptoms are kind of, that's okay. Like you're supposed to have painful periods and you're supposed to have, it's just fine if you have painful sex. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fine at all.
It's not. It has a 30 to 50% infertility rate. So for women that are trying to get pregnant, that's kind of a huge deal. There's not a whole lot of understanding about it. Well, we have a guest that's coming on our show today to talk about her journey with endometriosis.
A very long journey.
Yeah. So she's going to tell us all about like the different things that she's had to go through that so many other women have had to go through, different surgeries, like cost.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah.
And the lack of doctors and everybody just knowing. So she's going to really enlighten us about what is important and how it has affected her relationships.
Yeah, her relationships, her sex life, because she's going hard full in today because you need to know this information. But what it does to your relationship with your spouse or your partner.
Yeah.
And to people around you, your friends, your family.
Yeah. So this is a pretty big topic that doesn't get a lot of awareness to it. I mean, we have a month, but like I can tell you, I haven't seen a single thing from any of my sex therapy colleagues about Endometriosis Awareness Month. And that kind of makes me a little bit sad. Like I think, not that I've posted anything either, but I don't post on my personal profile anything but this show.
Yeah, me and Callie Berry. That's about it. So, my spouse occasionally, but mostly Callie Berry.
But that's my personal one. But it's definitely something that I think we as therapists and sex therapists probably should bring a little bit more light to more frequently.
Yeah.
So anyway, so when we come back, we'll be joined by Anne, and she is going to walk us through her journey. You guys, stick around. I think it's going to be awesome.
Fascinating information you don't know. And plus, we just like being nosy and getting to know people's private lives. So there is that. And
we guarantee you this is affecting at least 5 of our listeners right now.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
1 in 10, and what we have at least 100 to 200 people that watch our show.
We have 200
Holla.
Very nice followers.
We're gaining. Yeah. So you guys, this affects you. I'm just saying. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with our special guest.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Sex on the Edge with Edge Radio.
Jen and Hen?
Yeah. Sorry, we are all excited today. Yeah. We're very excited about our guest, Miss Anne Finegold, who is here to tell us about her personal journey with endometriosis.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I am, first of all, such a big fan of the show.
We have a fangirl.
I'm so excited to be on. I'm so honored, and thank you, especially for Endometriosis Awareness Month, which is near and dear to my heart, and a big part of what I hope to be advocating for the rest of my life. It's a lifelong disease.
It's needed,
and we do need a lot more advocates out there, and there are some amazing women and also people assigned female at birth who have endo, who are very vocal and starting to be demanding better treatment for women. And but part of it is just getting the word out there. What is endometriosis?
So we're excited.
So tell us, what exactly is endometriosis?
So I'm going to be very I'm going to read from the description because it's important to get it exactly right. Many doctors even don't know the right description for what endo actually is. Endometriosis is a complex disease in which cells similar to, and that's important, similar to, but not the same as, the lining of the uterus are found elsewhere in the body, causing pain, inflammation, and organ dysfunction. And personally, for me, I've had pain. I've had inflammation, chronic inflammation, and organ dysfunction as well.
So what was wild for me going through this journey with you was I remember where I was. I remember what I was wearing the day you told me, no, it goes in other places in your body.
Yeah,
and I was
exactly.
Like, what?
Yes.
Excuse me? Like, I didn't know you get endometriosis. I think what you said was like in your nose?
Yes.
Or like,
Yeah, I had a client that had endometriosis in her nose. Like, it can go, like, I pulled something else up, the brain, the arteries, the diaphragm, the bladder, ovaries, kidney, liver, lungs, bowels, epidemics, uterus, even your skin.
Even your skin.
It is wild.
It's wild.
Like, how do we not know about this?
It's you know, how do we not know? But this is a great question. We don't, at the medical community doesn't quite yet recognize this. And part of the problem is OBGYNs they do their job and they learn a bit about endometriosis, but their primary job often is the OB part of their job. And I feel gynecology as a specialty needs to be elevated so that endometriosis is treated as a disease, which it is, and right now it's not quite recognized as a disease by American College of Gynecologists.
Wow.
And there aren't the only gold standard treatment for endometriosis, which I've had several times, is excision by a surgeon. That surgeon needs to be familiar with where to find endo. And
which if it's all over your body, like really complicated,
and also needs to excise it. And at this point, your average gynecologist, they may be able to recognize some endo if it's near your.
Now, when you say excise, do you mean remove?
Yes. Okay. So surgically remove, surgically get in there and get it from the root where it is.
Right. So tell us about how this journey began for you.
So for me,
like when did it start?
It really, I grew up having bad periods.
Yeah.
What I thought was bad periods. Lots of bleeding, lots of pain. But really, when I realized something was definitely wrong with me, was about 10 years ago when I moved to Dallas from New York. And all of a sudden, my periods became 2 weeks long. I would have PMS for the other 2 weeks of the month.
Wow.
So it was a great time for you and your husband.
It affects your mood swings as well,
yes,
too.
Yes, my hormones were all over the place. My mood, I started to be depressed. I started seeing a psychiatrist for depression, and sex became really hard to manage. It hurt, and your partner, when you don't know something's wrong with you, and you're having this pain during sex, it's really hard for your partner. My husband, amazing man, Ellie, who's guided me through this, been with me through this whole journey, and been amazing.
We love you, Ellie.
He's great, but he was like, what's wrong? And I would go to a doctor after doctor after doctor, and I would be put on, opioids. I would be put on birth control, and given no other options. Aside from that.
When you were younger, before 10 years ago, and you would talk to the doctors about, like, I have these really, these painful periods. What kind of things would they tell you then?
They would tell me. You're going to say the same thing. So yes, they had varying ideas of how to help this pain. First of all, they called my my mid-month pain Mittelschmerz, which is an ovulation pain.
I forgot about
remember that.
Yes.
Which is just the weirdest name ever.
I mean, it's not quite as up there as genital sneezes, but that's
yes. And so they would say, well, you're married. Why don't you just get pregnant? If you have a baby, the endo will flush itself out.
I've heard that from other clients too, that have been told the same thing.
Yes, and that's maddening, especially when I didn't know why I was infertile, but I was experiencing infertility,
right?
And because of the endometriosis, so the thought of having a baby, and also having to be on birth, the only thing to help was on birth control. So take birth control, get pregnant, None of it made sense to
Wow.
me.
It's interesting because it's really
Yeah.
painful sex, and they're like, "Well, just get pregnant."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you have
Well,
to
and
have sex.
Right.
Yes.
But then like 30 to 50% of women who have endometriosis, right, we just saw in that graphic,
Yeah.
can't are have infertility issues. So it's like,
Exactly.
oh, just get pregnant because it's that fucking easy.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like, so it hurts when I fuck my husband.
Yes.
It's gonna be really
It's gonna be-
difficult to get this baby. So you want me to keep okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much
So let's
sense.
traumatize the
let's
shit out
just-
of myself.
Right.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, and then, I finally went to what I thought was a gynecologist who was she was a well-known gynecologist. A surgeon friend recommended me to her. And so I thought she was going to take care of this. And she went in and said, I found nothing. You had some uterine fibroids. But the reason she found nothing is because she only searched for around my ovaries and around the uterus.
Right.
Whereas my personal endometriosis grew all over my abdominal wall, on my bowel, on my rectum, around my bladder, places where she did not look because she did not know to look
Yeah.
there.
Right.
So that's why that definition is really important because it can be all over the body. And so that's why I start with the definition first, just to help people know that there are women like with the nose, they have it when they have their period, they have a nosebleed.
Yeah.
And that's their endo bleeding.
It's like wild.
Wild.
It's wild to think about.
Yeah.
It's wild
Yeah.
to think that we don't know about this.
No, it's true. I mean, and even I'll admit, like, I'm fairly ignorant on this subject myself.
I only know because first.
Right.
Yeah, we
Because it's
don't
not
know
something
unless
that's-
we know someone.
Yeah.
I think that's really until you know someone with it, and that's what's got to change, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But fortunately, things like this, being here with y'all,
We're here to get the word out.
Yeah. So I could go into a little more of my surgical history.
How much more time we got,
I think
Vince?
we had a picture of you in.
Oh, yes.
Right, that we were gonna put up.
Probably like yes.
So
this
tell
one-
us about that.
So this is me and Dr. AJ O'Connell. He's amazing. He's my the third of the 3 endometriosis excision experts, which is something we'll have to talk about.
Okay.
Who's treated me. This was last November, and I've been pretty much symptom free since this last surgery, which is awesome.
Like amazing.
Amazing.
What's the longest you've gone between surgeries being symptom free?
They've been almost always at 5 months. I start having symptoms again, and so we're hoping that this time. Fortunately, when he went in this time, there was no new endo.
Okay.
There were some adhesions that were causing me pain. There was some burnt up endo, which was interesting. So I'm hoping, every single time they've gone back in, I've had 6 surgeries in 3 years.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, and I caught on to the word, and I wanted to come back and ask you about it, that like when you get it incised, it has to be incised from the root.
Yes. So most gynecologists, it will go in if they do see endo when they're in there, will do something that's called ablation. And ablation is burning. It's sort of burning it above the surface.
Kind of like people get their tubes tied, they can also get them like burned, like a blade.
Yeah,
like that.
yes,
Okay.
like that. Yeah. So they burn it, but that doesn't stop it from regrowing. It'll just basically grow right back. Like if you just burn the surface off and you're not getting in there and really surgically, getting it out of the tissue, then you're leaving it there to grow and expand. So that's another reason why surgical excision experts are few. They're few and far between.
Wow.
But we are lucky here in Texas to have 4 of them.
Wow.
Which is amazing. There's only a few hundred in the world, and we have 4 of them in Texas.
A few hundred in the
Yes.
world.
And that is the gold standard of treatment for a disease that affects 1 in 10 people assigned female at birth,
Right,
women.
right, and that's not just U.S. stats. Like when we were doing the research on this, that it like the U.K., Canada, all over. This is 1 in 10 women worldwide, not just the United States.
Yes.
So to kind of really be aware.
Yes.
Wild.
So
huge. So I think we're going to take a quick pause right there. I think it's a good place to stop. And when we come back, we will come more into your journey with all of this and how it's affected you, how it's affected your relationships. This is fascinating. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. And when we come back, we will talk more with Anne about her endometriosis journey here on Sex on the Edge with Jen Hen on Edge Radio TV.
Edge is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
The responsibility be on this? Should we have had a national plan, or should
that the government needs to get out of the way and let people figure it out?
What do you do for your face?
So I do have a skincare line called Infinity Skincare, and welcome back to How You Living on Edge Radio Live. So to Jennifer, I'm just saying bye, and I'm out.
Peace.
Can't say we not working, okay?
You cannot say we not working.
Say that we are.
No, they're just ready to get back out there and start sexing up other people.
Yeah.
That we weren't interested in any silver medals. If they wanted to give us the gold medal that we earned.
给我穿的观众，我是富卡，今天又到了我们。
It's a hotel kind of vibe.
Well, I mean, I'm
We're
sure he's like,
turning
I
down
don't want
to
to
say,
hear you
"Here's the dinner,
complaining
man."
about the cheap sensation cocktail. This is our first mixed cocktail. We have.
Three.
Very good margarita. Good margarita.
Folks, as always, this is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get, right? So to the Edge Radio Network, we are going to be bringing you continuous, interesting conversations, interesting encounters, interesting experiences, education, knowledge, and a lot of laughs and a lot of fun, folks. So you don't want to miss it. So
when people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen on Edge Radio TV. I am Jennifer Reeves.
I'm Hendrik Scott. Today we're here with a very special guest, Miss Anne Finegold. She's going to continue telling us about her journey.
Yeah, so she's been telling us about her journey with endometriosis. This is Endometriosis Awareness Month. March is the Endometriosis Awareness Month. So we're getting it out on the last day, but that's okay. Still better late than never. Still counts. Still in the month. And we're so happy to have her here. It's been, fucking eye-opening for me. Like, mind-boggling so far.
It's wild, right?
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. 1 in 10 women worldwide, wow.
Yeah.
And all the surgeries. You said you've been through.
So I've had 6 surgeries in the last 3 years. Yes. Wow. And I've lost a number of organs as well. My first, when I had that false misdiagnosis, not saying I did not have endo, I was pretty crushed for a couple of years, and then things just got worse, and it got to the point where I was not able to stand up properly. When I would get up, I would sort of have to hunch over. I had trouble going, painful bowel movements, painful urinary pain, and still continually worse painful sex. And I got online, and honestly, this is how most of us who have found treatment have found it, through Nancy's Nook, which is an online, it started off as a Facebook group run by Nancy, Nancy Peterson. She is a nurse practitioner she's maybe in her 80s at this point, but she is one of the first to sound the alarm about not doing ablation surgeries, about having excision experts.
I love
and
whistleblowers.
she's amazing, and she's created a file for doctors like my excision specialists who she vets and basically makes sure that they are doing proper excision, that they are treating women with the highest quality of care possible.
And
so
that's a website?
Yes.
So we can link that to the bottom. Hendrix, you're on top. That's your job. Got it.
So she has a website that's I Care Better now, but I'll give you all the information.
Okay.
And it's an amazing spot to find someone in your state or in your part of the world. So she's got a worldwide web of doctors.
I wonder why it takes this 80-year-old woman to vet these people, but say for cancer, this would be unheard of.
This would be unheard of. And for the patient, it's always the patient that it's on their burden to find the right care, which should not be the case. We should be able to go to our gynecologists who we already have established relationships with, and they should direct us to a specialist.
It's already traumatic going to a gyno sometimes anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I could totally get on a soapbox about how male sexuality versus female sexuality, because I mean, we have Viagra, and we have Cialis, and we have Levitra. We have 100 different medications to help your little dingling go up. But to help women stop having painful sex.
Yes.
And to help women
not a thing.
They're like, just take out your uterus.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Or just keep having sex. It'll stop eventually.
Exactly.
It'll, just have that baby that's so difficult for you to get, like we talked about in the last segment, and you'll be fine.
And that you may not want for me.
Right, exactly. Yes, that's true too.
It's a strange thing to prescribe having a baby.
Wow.
But so once I finally found my first excision specialist, who I found through Nancy's Nook, when it was just a Facebook group, I was just so delighted that there was one of the best in the world in Texas, in Denton. And by that time, I was so tired of fighting, of hurting, that I was like, I'm just done. Like, I knew I had endo, but it hadn't been diagnosed.
Yeah.
And I was done and just ready to just give up everything.
Sorry, what kind of research? So you said you knew you had endo. What kind of research had you been doing at that point that you were like, I know in my heart, this is what is wrong with me. Why is nobody helping me?
That was really through online Facebook groups, not just Nancy's Nook, but there are some other ones. Extra pelvic, not rare. There are some for every state. I've just mostly put out there by other women like me who finally found that excision is the way to go, and is out there spreading the good word. And once I found that and checked with other women about their symptoms like bloating, like massive bloating, nausea, especially during the period, constant debilitating pain, headaches.
Your pain level was like,
it was
off the charts.
out of control.
Wow.
It was out of control, and I still in my mind didn't know for sure if there was something wrong with me, because so many people had told me that it was just no big deal, and that it was just, you have hormones from hell. It's your
You're
fault.
Just getting older.
Basically.
You're just getting older.
Yeah.
It's going to be more painful.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be heavier periods.
Exactly.
It's all in your head.
It's all in your head.
Other women have been told it's all in your head, and then they come to me, and I'm like,
yes.
It's not
but you really need that. You need that confirmed. You need someone to tell you, yes,
you're not
you
crazy.
have. Yes, you have. When I woke up from my first surgery, and my husband said, "Annie, you have endometriosis." I wasn't sad. I was delighted that someone finally figured it out and saw and removed it. After that, I still needed several more surgeries. My endo is most women who have an excision surgery done by a specialist will not have recurrence. But I'm in that 20% or something of women who do, and
How
so
fun for you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And so we've been through 3 years of just constant surgeries.
Wow.
I've had a hysterectomy. I've had an oophorectomy. They took my appendix, and I've had lots of bowel work done, which is really not fun at all. But
we have poked fun at it in really delightful ways. There's some nice jokes you can get in there, but you have to, otherwise it's just so damn sad.
Yeah, with certain things, you have to be able to find the humor in the situation.
Exactly, and Hen and I have been friends for this entire time that I'm talking about, and so you've seen the whole thing, the decline, then me not being able to go out, because I was so debilitated for a long time. But now I'm really feeling great, and then there are some other things that I'm doing now to keep feeling good, because endo is not something that really ever goes away. You're still more apt to have chronic inflammation. Right. You can still have chronic pain despite having the best surgeons in the world.
Yeah. So walk us through a little bit of how your husband handled all of this and the journey that he, I know he's not here to speak for his part, his side of the journey, but
he would love to be.
He would. Yeah, he would. I am curious, how he felt during all of this and what he went through as well.
He went through a lot. I do have to be really honest about that. He went through a lot. It was not easy for him to watch me suffer from something that no one can help. Any husband, any partner is going to want to help fix you. And help get your life back in order, because what it meant for our lives was it just sort of shut our life down for a while.
We were very active people.
I mean, we loved going out. I mean, I love going out. I love trying new places. I'm very much a fun adventuring person.
I feel like the part for the partner is that I know personally, but he just missed you. Because it's kind of like you disappear fogged by all the pain.
Exactly. You disappear, and you're also he's a very social person, very social, and also for work he works, a lot of his work is social stuff. It includes, going out and stuff.
Right.
And I had to cancel and leave him. I will always be canceling at the end of, after just, it felt, I'd be like, oh, I can make it today. I can make it. And the pain would just get so bad near the end of the days, my pain especially, that I had to leave him alone a lot. And that felt wrong. And not being with him for family functions, weddings, not being able to go to a wedding out of state, because just wouldn't be able to handle it. We missed a lot of life. We missed 3 years of everything, birthdays, holidays, everything. And that was tragic to see him have to go through, because he had to go through it every bit as much as I did, and not have the pain that, for me it was an easy decision, oh, I can't do this. But for him, he had to just cancel and then watch me be in debilitating pain.
And now he can't bang his beautiful wife.
And that too.
That was going to be the next thing, is so how it affected you and how you felt about sex, and how it affected him, and how and not being able to.
So when I first started to have pain during sex, and I would shy away from having sex, and I wasn't able to voice at the beginning that was why. Because I didn't know yet what I had. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So I just knew I didn't want to have sex, and because it was painful. But so I would shy away from it, and I would sort of push him away. Which does really harmful things to your partner, if you're pushing them away and not giving them a reason why that makes sense to them. It was hard because I just couldn't voice yet what the thing was.
Because you don't know why, so you can't
Yeah,
say why.
right.
But then it leaves the partner going, "Is it me? Like,
Yeah.
did I do
Right,
something?"
right.
Yeah. And so I felt terrible. But then once you do that enough times, the intimacy, we lost a lot of intimacy. We have a big job right now that we're definitely putting our best foot forward now to find that intimacy again and be comfortable again, because I am happy to say that I can I can have pain-free sex again.
Yay! That's exciting.
Which was just so exciting. And
So he's not coming out with us later, right?
So it's awesome. It's we're discovering what that is together again. And I mean, when you go, I couldn't even masturbate. So I've lost a lot of years of pleasure myself.
And for context, like, y'all were a very intimate couple.
Yes.
Like, y'all were the couple everybody was like, "Oh my God, they're so in love. They're always touching. They're always laughing. There was so
Very
much laughter."
very much. We
Yeah.
are obsessed with each other a little bit. But
So to like watch it kind of pause was strange. It was even heartbreaking watching it.
Yeah,
I bet
can-
it was.
I
Yeah.
can only imagine, because like a lot of couples, I don't know, I can't remember what the stats are offhand, but a lot of people end up divorcing during cancer. I can only imagine the divorce rate.
Oh yeah,
with dealing with endometriosis.
Oh yes, so much. I mean, I just know from all of the support groups that I'm a part of, and just from reading so many ladies' stories and watching them go through separations and divorces, I know for a fact that that is true. It's not something that you have to have a really strong foundation to be able to get through it. And especially for me, once I had a hysterectomy, my personality changed also completely too. So until I got on hormones, but so he rode that ride with me as well.
Wouldn't you send him away some of the times?
Yes.
Like whenever you would go on an upswing of
yes. If when my estrogen gets low, ladies, you need estrogen. Ladies, you need progesterone. You
Hormones
need testosterone.
are cunty little bitches.
They really are.
Oh my God.
They really are.
And for men too, like my dudes like testosterone, and you have guys, y'all have some lady hormones too. Don't think you don't, and it affects your mood swings. Men can be moody also. Like cunty little bitchy hormones. Anyway,
so we developed a way of just telling each other, hey, it's okay. I'm gonna go get a hotel room for a few days, and we're just gonna, chill apart until this, crazy wave is over.
Well, on that note, we're going to take our last break, and when we come back, we will wrap things up with Anne and endometriosis, and get to our sex position of the week and all of that other stuff, and maybe talk a little bit about self-care, and maybe talk about how you take care of yourself when you're dealing with things like this. So stay tuned. We will be back shortly with Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen.
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
I'm trying not to lose my head.
Hey, this is the Talk About Unity show where I bring the talk.
And I bring the unity.
And together we talk about unity. Unity is what matters. Come on. And right now in our country, that's what we've got to do. So we do that here at Talk About Unity on the Edge Radio Network. Be with us every week.
It's going to be awesome. It always is. And I tell you what, the more we seek first to understand, then be understood, we make progress.
And we like to do that. And that's why everybody's on the brink. We love what we do at Edge Radio because everybody's on the edge. We bring them back from the edge and we bring the unity. So we're just glad to Edge Radio Network every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Talk About Unity because here at Edge Radio Network, truth still matters.
Hey guys, welcome back to our last segment of Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen by Edge Radio TV. They're gonna stop letting me do this eventually. I'm the worst co-host ever.
Jen, you just take us in and take us out every time. It'll be fine.
I'll get it one day. Anyway, our beautiful guest, Miss Anne Finegold.
Yes. What a last name too.
Oh, right?
Hello.
That was a gift from the hubby.
She's fine as gold, y'all.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. So, what is one of like the last things you wanted to talk about that's like really important for you? And also, everyone, we can have a second segment of this because there is a ton more information.
Oh, for
sure.
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
a lot
Just
more to
let
talk
us know.
about.
For sure.
And I'd love to talk about it again anytime. So I would like to talk about some things that aside from surgery, that women with endometriosis can and do to sort of help with the painful sex, with chronic inflammation. So one thing I've started doing, which I am obsessed with, is pelvic floor therapy, which is awesome.
We want a pelvic floor specialist on here.
Yes. I need to email a couple. I have a couple of names. I just keep forgetting.
It's incredible, and I did not know it existed really until recently.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think women should know that exists.
Right.
It's really like physical therapy for your, not just, for your vaginal area, but for your, bowel area, for your whole, the
whole
pelvis,
so the pelvic floor, you can't see because my hips are covered by this, but I mean, your pelvic floor is that whole area that's inside of your hips, and it's the square rectangle, actually not a square. Unless you're a square. You're not a rectangle either. I'm going down a rabbit hole. We're going to come back. But yeah, so they work with the whole pelvic floor area that includes all of that.
Yes. And we aging can weaken your pelvic floor. Yes. Surgeries can weaken your pelvic floor. Some of us just need more help there. And for pain-wise, especially with painful sex, loosening up some of the muscles down there is not something that's easy and you can necessarily do yourself until you learn how to do it.
Right.
And the pelvic floor therapy is sort of, that's the goal is to help me help myself eventually, which is really great because then I can, basically they give you a wand and you can do the therapy that they do at home, without the nice little bowel massage that they give you, which is really just wonderful. So I don't want to miss out on that too much, because they do give great massages. But so I found that to be really helpful, and I think I just want to spread the word on that. Yeah. Another thing that I'm doing is a pelvic rehabilitation medicine. That is a sort of a new thing. It's a combination of suppositories that are filled with Valium and gabapentin and another. Yes, you can use right, exactly. And they are amazing. I will tell you, they work. I use them every night. It relaxes the pelvis. It helps for helping with the pelvic floor therapy to work. They work in tandem. And then I also get injections in the pudendal nerve that are...
She's not mature enough to hear words like that, Anne. You should know this. You watch the show.
I watched the show. I should know this.
I held it in, and then it just ruminated, and I was like, poo-poo.
My eyes went like directly to
that's what it was, because I saw you look at me, and to see my reaction, I was like, I was holding it together.
You were, and then went on.
Way to go! You said that perfectly.
Yes, but you also have to know, in my head, I was also still giggling at the fact when we were talking about pelvis. I was like, Elvis, let me be.
Oh my
Keep
gosh.
that pelvis far from me. So that was in my head, and then you're all poo-poo, and it's better than a nerve. Oh no. I did not have Dr. Pepper today. Just saying, it's all water with no vodka.
Now you see what I got.
I love it. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Yes, so injections. Now I can't say it. Injections of lidocaine into your pudendal nerve, and but that basically runs up, up into your pelvis and then back into your sort of rectal area, where all my pain generally is. And so there's like a round of 6 weeks of shots. I go every week, and it's helping so much calm that whole area. I have a tendon. What's happening now is you have so many surgeries that your body just goes like this, it's been just attacked a little bit too much. So my muscle, we're trying to get those muscles out of spasm, which a lot of women with endo will be familiar with. And so those are two new things that I'm trying to tell everyone, go try, find, and here in Texas, we've got great, there's actually quite a lot of great medicine here. So
how would you, where would you recommend if a woman that's watching the show right now is like, oh gosh, I feel like I've had so many of those symptoms she's talked about. I think she might be talking about me, or I've been diagnosed, but my gynecologist told me it might be, but I don't really know. Where would you direct them to maybe start their search and to find that support group, or to looking for all of that?
So I would definitely suggest, going, as silly as it sounds, go on Facebook. There's a lot of women there's some amazing support groups there. Start with Nancy's Nook. It's more of an informational support group, or less of a support group than an informational group. She has a website called icarebetter.org. And go there and find an excision specialist, get a consult. This is not the kind of thing that goes away. If you're having that pain, and if it will only progress. They may give you birth control pills that might relieve your symptoms. It might relieve your monthly symptoms, but you could progress, and progression means perhaps losing organs, losing the proper use of
the will
your
to
organs.
live.
Yes, that too. And excision is it is expensive. It's often not covered under insurance, which is ridiculous. Which is why we need a lot of things to change. I've paid out of pocket for all of my surgeries. I
don't know if y'all can see me looking at the thing, because soapbox on.
Do you know if any organization? Because you're right, the cost is obscene. And if you were any kind of below certain SES, it's impossible.
It's impossible. If you go to Endo Invisible. Is a
next year we're having a fundraiser.
They raise funds to help women who can't cover their own excision surgeries.
Wow.
And they're located in Dallas or the Denton area, I believe. But I believe you can send in your story, your plus with your MRI, your whatever. It's not always shows up on an MRI, but your doctor's notes, whatever it is, to sort of prove why you need excision surgery, and they're doing that. They're providing excision surgeries for women who can't, but it's a small organization. Love to talk about them here, so that hopefully some of your watchers will donate, and listeners.
Well, when Oprah decides to adopt me finally, I will make sure to talk to her about this.
Please do. We got to get Oprah on
to my mom's.
But that's true. Celebrities have this thing, they get on hooks, and there's got to be celebrities.
They're starting to really speak out. Padma Lakshmi from Top Chef. She has endo. Gosh, who else?
Okay,
they're all there are really ladies. There are a few that are coming out. It's now known that Marilyn Monroe had endometriosis and had
belly,
parts,
the endo belly.
You'd see she had the endo belly. She had a partial hysterectomy. So does Dolly Parton. She has endometriosis.
Dolly, I love you. Come on,
sweet
our show.
Dolly.
Joey, I'm not gonna.
So it's
She was about to sing. I eyeballed her.
I said Jolene. I said one word, and then I stopped.
Which song were you going to sing?
Jolene.
Okay.
Now you're going to make me want to sing
It's a good song. It's a good song.
It is a good song. I'll sing it as soon as we go off. And
yes.
So what are some things like, what are some ways that you were, that's how, doctor's appointments and the pelvic floor and those things, but self-care, like in the middle of all this, as you're going through the pain, when you're dealing with it, what do you do to like, just
I wanted to drag you to my barber for some self-care.
Yeah, seriously. that would be self-care. No, you've got to really.
I have heard about this barber.
This barber is,
anyway.
She's very.
Does she watch our show? Is this inappropriate?
I tag her all the time. I'm like, love me. Me and Anne are big fans.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. She should come on the show.
She should.
Self-care. I found meditation is really great. It's hard to get into. I said no to it for years.
Same.
Just so avoided it, and now I've finally come to accept that. I found the right meditation style for me. I think it's really
right.
You've got to find what weird thing works for you.
You have to keep trying. Like it is. A lot of people try once and then be like, I didn't like it.
I have to have guided meditation. Like there's on YouTube. My favorite meditation to follow along with is called "Fuck That," an honest meditation, and he's like, breathe in and breathe out all the bullshit and say, "Fuck that."
Nice.
It makes me laugh. It makes me breathe. It's amazing. Like I love, and his voice. It's so good. It's so good. So fuck that.
Is it soothing?
Meditation. It's so soothing. It's so soothing.
Nice.
Yeah, I love
it.
But
real, keeping it real with I like that.
Yeah. It's my fave.
Yeah.
I tell it to all my clients. I also, interestingly, have you ever heard of tap therapy or emotional freedom technique?
I have. I've never tried it, but I've heard of it. Yes.
I'm a huge fan of that. I have bronchitis issues, and I use that whenever my drugs won't make me stop coughing. I've used it for migraines. So I wonder if that would be something that could help with certain
I can't imagine what that must be like to not be able to stop coughing.
Oh God, it sucks.
That's like a nightmare scenario to me.
All of it. Yeah.
But tapping, and yoga I've started doing. For me, Kundalini yoga is like speaking to me these days, and it's kind of spiritual but physical. It brings a lot of breath into the pelvis, which is really helpful for me these days. Like I have to visualize that, just good stuff. Like you have to, and I also have been seeing a healer who is amazing. She does healing touch therapy, but over the phone. And therapy too.
Yeah. Well, gosh, thank you so much for being on here and joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We do have one more. We're going to do our sex position of the week, and I think this will be such a fun one. Let me get to my little appy app over here. Hold on 1 second. Jennifer.
Is this the wild one?
Yes. So, ready? We're going to shake it. Bam. All right. We have the Pornhub rub. Yes. So the man starts by laying on the edge of the bed. The woman from a standing position sits back onto the man. It looks fun.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Looks so fun. And you guys, yes, it is a requirement to have your hands up in the air. Waving around like you just don't care. So, as with all of these, of course, this is, heterosexual, but shit, I think you can.
It looks like he's going to do a burpee.
We had to get to that one because that was awesome. But anyways,
I want to know if anyone is actually doing that.
I mean, please do it.
Yes.
I want to know.
Yeah, then tell us about it.
Try this tonight. This is your homework.
You got it.
Thank you so much for being on the show. You guys, this is Endometriosis Awareness Month. It's such a big deal. We will have some links posted for you guys to go check it out or look into and start some of the research because this is big and it's not talked about enough.
Absolutely.
At all. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. This is wonderful. This is the best. I loved it.
You have been watching Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen on Edge Radio TV, and as always, happy humping! In that Pornhub rub.